Hey guys, this is a total improv 2 video. I noticed online as the Iowa Caucus results are pouring in that there is no video explanation of what the Iowa Caucus is, and my goal with our channel is to add just a new grain of information in the vast ocean that is the knowledge on the internet. So I'm going to tell you quickly in like 2 minutes what the Iowa Caucus is. Hold on, let me get my podium. Ugh. All right. And I have a whiteboard too. So the Iowa caucus is different than every other state in how they vote because caucuses are handled without secret ballots. Usually when you go to vote for who you think should be the presidential candidate for your party, you would cast a secret ballot and that ballot would be counted. And according to the number of ballots for each candidate, that's how delegates would be assigned. Those delegates would then vote on the presidential candidate you want your party to select. Caucuses are different. What they look like are each county separates into a public area, say Polk County, for instance, in Iowa. They'll choose an auditorium, a library, something of that nature, and neighbors will gather to decide who they want to be the president. So what does that look like? Basically, there'll be different seating sections in a library, auditorium, something of that nature, usually schools, and each section of the stadium or public seating place will be labeled with a different candidate's name. For instance, Warren on one side of the stadium, Biden on another, Btw, and we'll go with Klobuchar. And then citizens will choose where they want to sit in the auditorium. So a few of your neighbors may go sit in the Btw section, some will sit in the Biden section, some in the Sanders section. And then, after everyone's found their place, only viable candidates can move forward. What does that mean? If not at least 15% of the people in attendance are sitting in a specific candidate section, that candidate is not considered viable. So that viable candidate will then go and elect someone to stand up and then preach to the audience why their candidate is better than the candidates that are not viable. So each of the different sections will have a representative that teaches about the policies for 30 minutes to the audience of why you should join that candidate's campaign. Then the non-viable candidates, those with less than 15% of the people in attendance, will have to find a new place to sit. They literally have to stand up, go find another section of a candidate they believe to be their second choice candidate after hearing each viable candidate's representatives give a speech about why their candidate is best. After that, all the sections with at least 15% of the people at the polling place, the caucus, will then elect representatives to then choose delegates, and those delegates will eventually vote for who that party believes should be the presidential candidate or presidential nominee for their party. So what that looks like is if 25% were in the Warren section, 25% in the Biden section, they would each elect a number of delegates proportionate to the percent of the people at their polling place that end up sitting in their seat after all the speeches are made. And that's how delegates are counted in a caucus. The reason the Iowa caucus is important is because we give it importance. It's no different than how any other state would conduct select delegates. In the end of the day, it's just the first state casting votes, and then the media picks up, who did well that night and spreads their name around. You get a lot of free press for winning the Iowa caucus, and it's supposed to pick a more viable candidate nationally because you're seeing both who someone believes is the best candidate and second best candidate, meaning they have a broader audience nationally. And historically, there have been presidents that selected at the Iowa caucus end up winning the presidential election. Iowa is also a great moderate state to select who they believe is president. As we've seen in the past, the Iowa caucus both selected President Obama and selected Donald Trump, so they can swing in either direction. Really, it's supposed to just be a state that has their finger on the pulse of the national electorate. All right, hopefully that's a short, simple, and sweet definition of what the Iowa caucus is. Thanks, guys.